Hi there. Welcome to Get Out of My Kitchen. If you knew me, you would know just how perfect of a name that is, because it sounds just like me. And I say it probably 100 times a week. Get out of my kitchen. It's just the way that it goes. I am pastry chef Mitchell Moore. Again, with the pastry chef thing, I just don't know. So, true story. Story time. True story. Went to a doctor one time who was recommended by another doctor. He was a, whatever they're called today, GP. And go in, and we're just going to make up a name and call him Scott Smith, all right? So I go in to see Dr. Smith, Scott Smith, and he introduces himself, as do I. Hi, I'm Mitchell Moore, and he says, hi, I'm Dr. Smith. Now, I knew that his name was Scott because I had been recommended to him by somebody else. So he did his thing, and we talked for a little bit. And about maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes in or 2 minutes in, something like that, I said, so Scott, I'll ask you a question. And I proceeded to ask my question, and he stopped me, and he said, I'm sorry, I try to keep it professional in the office, and so can you call me Dr. Smith? And I said, sure. My profession is chef, so you can call me Chef Moore. And he had a funny look on his face, and he said, I don't know that would be necessary. I said, oh, that definitely would be necessary if we're going to refer to each other as our title. So I'm Chef Moore, you're Dr. Smith. And he said, I don't know that I feel comfortable with that. And I said, no problem. And I got up and walked out of the office, never to be seen again. They never sent me a bill. They never did anything. Sometimes that's just how it goes. So I am a pastry chef, but please don't call me Pastry Chef Mitchell Moore. You can just call me Never. Today, I figured that we are going to work on basics. You guys might need the basics. Everybody needs basics. So, we're going to work tonight on roux and gravy, otherwise known as how to make my food taste better, especially in the South. Everybody, if we had known that when you grew up, it was just going to be an endless parade of what is for dinner tonight, we would have all jumped off a cliff long ago before we ever made it to this point. But every night, it's the same answer or the same question. What are we having for dinner tonight? We all get tired of that question, don't we? I know I do. I know my wife does. I know you do, because it's the worst. So, sometimes though, we come up with, let me just stop at the grocery store, I'll get one of those chickens and we'll eat some chicken, or we'll put chicken on a salad, or we'll make chicken salad, or we'll do something with that chicken. One thing that you can do is just heat it up and make some gravy to go over it, and it will improve that chicken drastically. You can also do that with hamburger steak, or beef tips, or just if you made rice and you want to have some gravy, just make gravy. But you probably don't know how to make gravy, and it's the easiest thing in the world. I didn't even prepare for it. The only thing I did is take my homemade chicken stock, which if you don't know how to make homemade chicken stock, shame on you, number one, because that means you haven't seen my chicken stock video. Number two, watch my chicken stock video, and then you'll know how to have homemade chicken stock in your refrigerator at all times. So right now, I'm pretending like I made something. It can be whatever. It could be, like I said, a homemade chicken, or a chicken that you got from the store. It could be hamburger steak. It could be beef tips. Or you could just have made some rice and you want some gravy for it. So I've got a little mirepoix in here. Mirepoix, again, is carrot, celery, and onions. We can just call it carrot, celery, and onions. And I've sauteed that a little bit just to get some color on it and to get some flavor. Then I'm going to take some butter to make a roux. Roux is just fat and flour. That's it. Now I'm going to use butter, but Mitchell, what if I don't have butter? then use margarine. But I don't like margarine. I can't stand margarine. Well, then use oil. But I don't keep oil. But then use ghee. Then use olive oil. It just needs fat. It doesn't matter what the fat is. Remember, it's just cooking. It's just food. You need some type of fat and flour. Like all-purpose flour, self-rising flour would work, believe it or not. I know that sounds anathema to some professional cooks, but it really would work. It's not going to hurt anything. Bread flour, whole wheat flour, I mean, that's not going to be very good, but you could still use it in a pinch. So I'm going to, before my pan gets too hot, I'm going to take some butter. How much butter? Doesn't matter. It's right above it, and I'm getting a suntan. Then you need flour. How much flour, Mitchell? Should it be about... Just, you need some flour. About a tablespoon of flour will thicken about a cup of liquid. So if we're going to use about a cup of liquid, then we want about a tablespoon of flour. But what if I've used too much flour? Well, then you'll want to add more liquid. See how that works? None of this is brain science. None of this is rocket surgery. This is just cooking for your family. So here I've got some beautiful vegetables with my roux. Again, roux is fat and flour. But if I were to use it right now, it's going to taste kind of like flour, and I don't want that. So I'm going to cook my roux for, I actually don't like my roux to be cooked super long. The longer that you cook roux, the less it thickens, and I actually want it thickened because I like thicker gravy. If you don't like thicker gravy, then cook your roux a little longer, or use more liquid when you add your chicken stock. Now, you could also, if you had cooked hamburger steak, you would already have fat in the bottom of the pan. Then you don't have to use any extra. You could just throw in your flour. It'd be done. Make your roux with all of that delicious grease. And let's not put too fine a point on it. It's grease. It's also incredibly flavorful. So, yeah, I know. So, I've got my roux. It's cooked here for about a minute. Then I'm going to take my homemade chicken stock and pour it in. But Mitchell, I heard that you need a whisk to make really good gravy so that you can whisk it in. Am I using a whisk? Do I have a whisk? What if I don't have a whisk? What if it's in the dishwasher? This is real life, people. Life happens, and sometimes you don't have a whisk. So, now, I do want to turn the heat back up, even though my face is so close to it. I'm just going to have to sacrifice for you people. It's not something I'm used to doing, but I'll do it this one time. Don't ask me again. I need it to be on high because I need that liquid to boil. It's not going to get thickened by the roux until it comes to a boil. So I don't actually know how thick gravy is going to be until it starts burling. And then we'll know. I can tell you it's probably not going to be, it's probably going to be very thick. I'm going to go ahead actually and add a little chicken stock to it, but not too much. And I'll be happy with that in my house. Like I said, I like thicker gravy. I want it to have a real nice mouthfeel to it. I want it to have a real good thickness to it. I like it thick. Let's see. All right. This is actually done. See how easy that was? I mean, literally, if I would shut up, this would take half the amount of time, but it's done. Gravy's finished. You could get your kids to fix their plates, and while they're fixing their plates and putting store-bought chicken and rice on their plate, you could have gravy made. I'm going to put that in the sink, and just using my spoon so I can show you. Let's see. Oh, I needed to go that way. Yes. Look at that. Look at that. Now, I didn't put any salt in here. You can if you need it, but taste it first. If it's leftovers from something, it may already be salty enough. If you're making just a quick gravy to put on some store-bought chicken or something like that, it probably doesn't have any salt in there. Remember, our stock is not going to be salted because it's chicken stock, and so we will have to salt if we cook with it. But look at that. That is luscious, thick, delicious gravy to improve your homemade meals and to make your family happy and to make you feel like you're accomplished at something instead of staying cooped up in the house all day, which is what we're all doing. I hope you've enjoyed it. Now I'm going to do a little cleanup. That's always part of it. You have to clean. First half of working in a kitchen, in a professional kitchen, is cooking. Second half is cleaning. But I don't like cleaning. Well, then you'll never get a job working in a professional kitchen. Sorry about that. Maybe you don't want to work in a professional kitchen. Maybe you're insane. In that case, you'd fit in really well in a professional kitchen. So gravy. We're going to stick with the basics at first. I think we're going to do cinnamon rolls next. People can do sourdough cinnamon rolls if they want. If we're going to do that, then tonight you should take your starter out and feed it and make some dough tomorrow so that we can use it to make our cinnamon rolls. If not, I'm just going to use a yeast-raised bread because that's what I have. But we will make cinnamon rolls tomorrow so you can see how much better they are than the Womp biscuit type cinnamon rolls that you make. Womp, you womp it on the side of the counter to open it up. Or you can do the little peely thing where it's like, it scares you, you know. You just peel it. Oh, please don't pop, please don't pop. And then it pops and it just freaks me out every time. So you don't have to make those though. If you have dough in your refrigerator, which you should, from our no-knead dough lesson, our yeast bread lesson, then you can make cinnamon rolls whenever you want. That's what I would highly recommend. Just keep some dough in your refrigerator. Done. If you make it every day, or if you make bread every other day, you're constantly stirring together the flour and the water and the yeast and whatnot, and put that in your refrigerator. It's ready the next day. Roll it out. So I'll show you that tomorrow. Until then, enjoy making gravy for your family, enjoy eating, and I guess get out of my kitchen and close your eyes. I'm going to turn off the picture button, so don't watch that part.